In this video, we're going to show you how you print a round label that is also printed just until the border, a borderless label with nice label. So you load in the material, make sure that the label detection sensor is correctly positioned. My label is 38 millimeters broad, so you need to put the label detection sensor in the middle of my circular labels because the distance between two labels in the middle is less than on the edges. So it means my label detection sensor has to be on approximately 19 centimeters. You can put a metric ruler on the label detection sensor, or you can use the inch values, but just make sure it's correctly positioned. So in my case, 19 centimeters, millimeters, excuse me. So the material is loaded, and you can see it's correctly loaded when the two labels are exactly on the border of the cutting edge. We're going to create a new label in Nice Label, and then we select the printer, the color label 1000, printer driver, you select label, and then you click on printer properties to change the label sizes or other options like saturation, etc. You click on advanced, click change for the label size, and then you select the width. In my case, my label is 380, but we're going to print over the edge of the label. So we're going to add an 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeter extra so that we can print over the edge of the label. So 391 and click on OK. We see a little preview of the label. It's a square label at this point. We have to modify it later on, and we also see a little orange border. Print on a roll of labels, leave it selected. Also leave portrait selected, click on next. And then the label dimension, check if it's corresponding with the driver. This is not the case. The width is okay, but my height is 38, so we're also changing it to 39.1. In this case, it's in millimeters. Also place the margins to 0. At this point, the bottom margin is at 1.1 millimeters. So even though my label size is 38 on the label, we have to change it to 39 if we want to print over the edge of the label. Also prevent printing on the corners, because this will make the printer dirty inside. To change the size, or to change the label size from square to rectangle, click double on the gray part and then change the radius to half of your round label. So in this case, 19.55 millimeters is the half of 39.1 millimeters. Click on OK, and we have the label now. We add a little big background. Reposition it, so it's going to cover completely the whole surface of the label. Add some text, and also position the text on the label. Okay, we're ready to print. So we give the print command. Change the number of labels to 2 or 3. It's important that you do this because you have to verify the last printed label to make the changes in the status monitor. And so you have the settings, and in here we're going to change the top of form and the left margin offset if needed, but we can only do this after having printed some labels and check the last printed label to make the modifications. We click on print. So now we see the output of the printer. So in case I want to, so this is the print direction, and if you want to change the top margin, the top of form, select the top of form in the settings. At this point, the printer has printed a little bit too much on the back of the label and not too much on the front, so we need to modify it. So to modify the top of form position, if we want to advance the label more to the front, we give a negative value and a positive value to go backwards. In this case, we do not wish to go backwards, but we want to go forward. So a negative value. My top of form is at 5 at this point, so maybe just by pushing it on 0, it will probably solve the problem. Afterwards, after changing the value, you need to click on Set in order to save it. The left margin offset, in my example, it's pretty good, so it's not needed to change it. In case you do want to change it, going more to the left, so the left is to corresponding the print direction. Going to the left is a positive value and negative to the right. Do mind that these values are in tens of millimeters. So I made the selections and I clicked on Set to save it on the printer. After the values are updated, we can reprint. This is the last print now. Again, I have printed several labels, and the third label, you can see it's perfectly centered, so the values that we have put in are good. If you take out the first example, you will see what came out first. So you can see it printed too much on the back and actually nothing on the front of the label, so this is not good. We need to make sure it's evenly printed everywhere. When this is done, you can now start your production job.